If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is August the 12th, 2023, and today the topic is God has not forgotten you. Happy Saturday, everybody. Happy Saturday. I hope that you all had a fabulous Friday. Mine was just fine. Mine was kind of busy. I ended up recording 2 episodes of the GSL talk show. Y'all know I went live and did the juice that morning. I also had another meeting with another potential marketing person. So yeah, your girl was rather busy yesterday. But to God be the glory for all things. I got everything done and everything went well. We had a new episode of the GSL talk show that came out last night. So thank you to those that watched it. I hope it didn't trigger anything, because I know our guest was, having a serious stance about men and women and our communication and everything like that. But again, it's just very interesting to me how all these different things just come together in this beautiful way. Because didn't I just tell y'all on Thursday? No, wait, it was Wednesday that the church was talking about communication and whatnot. And then, even though I had this conversation with my guest months ago, the fact that episode came out specifically yesterday, a day after I received that revelation, and then late last night, I won't get too deep into it, but I did have someone purchase one of my gigs on Fiverr, y'all. Y'all know that I give dating advice, right? I give Christian dating advice, and so I had someone reach out for some advice, and it did seem like listening may be playing a part in listening and communication might be playing a part in some of the questions that the individual had for me and whatnot. And so it's just very interesting. Again, I feel like just everything that I've been I guess experiencing this week with doing the juice and the conversations and just everything is just flowing together in this beautiful way that to me is divine, right? It just goes beyond, I guess, my understanding, because there's no way all of these things could be so strategic and coincide and everything like that. So yeah, I would say without the hand of God, there's no way that could happen, at least in my heart and mind. And so, yeah, it's very interesting day yesterday. And I'm waking up this morning, y'all, with the revelation that God has not forgotten about us. And here I am to tell you that God has not forgotten about you. I know we all have felt alone, right, in life. I know we all feel like, God, where are you? Right? Or how could you allow me to go through this or that? Here's one thing that crossed my mind this morning. I don't know why, right? We think that life shouldn't have ups and downs, especially when we know that, we all sin and falling short. Now, if we was all in the Garden of Eden and X, Y, and Z, then maybe, maybe that's why we feel wronged, right? When we go through trials and tribulations of life. Because technically, I guess we weren't supposed to go through trials and tribulations of life. So that could be the reason, ultimately, why we feel like there's injustices and things aren't fair, or, God, you're not here, or whatever the case is. Those different feelings come from the fall, ultimately. But since we all are here after the fall, what I'm saying is I don't fully understand why we feel like we should have a life without suffering when God himself didn't have a life without suffering, right? Christ had plenty of suffering while he was walking on the earth, right? From the time he was born, people were trying to kill him. And then to, the death on the cross, horrific. So, I mean, why do we think, right, we should get a pass and that we shouldn't go through anything in life? I mean, I don't know. That's just something that crossed my mind. But yes, I think it behooves us just to understand that life comes with ups and downs, especially life after the fall, which is what we're all experiencing, right? According to the Bible and everything like that. So, yeah, again, it may not have been God's will for us to, live the type of life that we're living, but knowing at least what the Bible tells us about our history, X, Y, and Z, we should at least have an understanding that there's going to be trials and tribulations in life. Now, the thing that we can change about that is how we handle it. And so that's more so, I guess, where the inspiration came from today. I mean, just God put on my heart and mind that he has not forgotten you. That's the phrase that came into my heart and mind as I was listening to prayer meditation this morning. And so let's get into these verses, y'all. I hope this will encourage and inspire you, especially if you're someone that is feeling like you're alone, feeling like God has forgotten you, and you're not understanding that at the end of the day, he's always there. And just like that poem about the footprint in the sand, like, you are not alone. That is a lie, false narrative, however you want to look at it, to help you understand that these are the moments that God is carrying you, and not that you're walking alone. So let's get into these verses. Let's see what these verses have to say. Philippians 1:6, it says, "And I am sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ." At the end of the day, all things are working together according to God's plan. Like, even the things we don't understand, even the bad, everything like that. If you are somebody that loves God, then all things work together for your good. I'm a living witness of this, y'all. I mean, even like the most negative things in my life have led to the most beautiful thing in my life. At the end of the day, different situations and whatnot, as I lean in and depend on the Lord to handle it and, let him do the justice and all those different type of things, I see, different things working in my favor that in a normal situation or in a situation where, someone may not lean in and depend on God, X, Y, and Z, it could be a detrimental thing, or it could be, the type of thing where they find themselves in a worse off state, right? But for me, right, as I again lean and depend on the Lord, I see things work in my favor that is like just unexplainable. I know I've shared with you guys different things, especially over the past few months, and I don't know if y'all remember, but do y'all remember a few months ago when I was super upset? Like, I was upset about some stuff that was going on, behind the scenes and everything like that. And I'm like, Lord, what's in my heart and mind to do is just to rectify the situation on my own and X, Y, and Z. But I keep feeling led to just allow things to play out in a biblical way. And as I continue to walk that path and let things play out, in spite of how I felt, in spite of, feeling like it was unfair and feeling like, the situation was wrong and messed up and all these different type of things. And this thing I know, everything smoothed out and worked in my favor. So what I'm saying to y'all is that, at the end of the day, we got to believe and understand that God is going to complete the work, whatever it is. So if he says that, your life is going to look like X, Y, and Z, then look for that, y'all. Instead of focusing on, what you don't have and what you're not getting, or whatever the case may be, or the negative things in life, instead of focusing so much on those things, we need to focus on the word of God and what it says about us and everything like that. Let me keep going, y'all. We got Galatians 6:9. "And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up." Friends, this is a very familiar verse. I mean, I think we all should be, again, familiar with it. We should know it at least at this point. I know I've shared it so many times on the juice. Y'all probably tired of hearing it. But at the end of the day, this should be a nice reminder for us to not grow weary in well doing. And that's so easy to do. Like when you feel like, man, I'm trying my best to do right. I'm trying my best to be, good to others and love and turn the other cheek and all these different things that feel like it's unfair for me to do. And it's easy, right, to lean into the idea, man, I want my revenge. I want my justice. I want my lick back. All these different things, right? That's the natural reaction to when we feel wronged or disrespected or whatever the case is. Like, that's a natural reaction. It's an unnatural reaction, I believe, for us to, face those things with love, humility, and trust in the Lord. But this is exactly what God is asking us to do at the end of the day. He's asking us to trust Him to, handle the justice, handle the injustice, and things of that nature. And again, I'm a living witness of this. Like, I didn't have to go and, get anyone back for the things that they've done to me wrong. At the end of the day, I did my best to continue to do right by people. And situations that I found myself in that felt unfair and felt like I was being treated wrong or done wrong. I now live this life, I feel like, of abundance, like, because at the end of the day, I let God handle it. Like, again, this may not be a good way to look at it, but according to the Bible, right, the more we show love, the more we, again, exercise the fruit of the Spirit. It's like leaping hot coals on our enemies' heads. So if you truly want to get somebody back, then let the Lord get them, rather than you trying to do it. Because now you done put something on yourself, like you stepping in a place that you're not supposed to be in, and then now you opening up extra doors to make the issue maybe more negative than it needed to be. When at the end of the day, again, we talked about the other day, like what those different type of ideas and things lead to. At the end of the day, when you try to get your own justice, or you try to, handle things in your own way, it leads to sin and leads to death. So, I mean, and we see that in a variety of ways. You know what I mean? Like, you could be going through life, someone steals from you, and you decide to beat them up or something like that. Then what's going to happen to you, friend? You're probably either going to go to jail. If you don't go to jail, then you might end up living the rest of your life with the regret and the shame of what you did, especially. And then if there's a life taken in the midst of it, right? Maybe next thing you know, you're beating someone up so bad that, their life is gone. So that means you're in jail even more, probably facing not only a life sentence or possibly even death for you. And things like that, when you could have just let God handle that situation from the beginning and cut it off at the head and say, okay, you know what, this person stole from me. But at the end of the day, this is just an example, y'all. But what I'm saying is that, you could have let that situation be handled by the Lord versus putting yourself in there and then making the situation even worse than what it was to begin with. And there's a lot of things that play out like that, y'all, whether we want to admit it or not. Like, when you really truly think about it, anything that we take up our own or do our own thing and get justice or whatever the case is, any of those things that we do, it don't lead to the end result that you truly want. Like, you might feel good for a moment to quote unquote get your lick back, but after you feel good for that moment, then where are you? Like, I mean, just truly think about it and play out scenarios before you do them. Like, I think that's, I guess, wisdom. And then also just, try not to even just continue to dwell on it. Give those things to the Lord. I know that's easier said than done, but I think, again, as we practice it and make it a routine in our life to hand things to the Lord that belong to the Lord, then at the end of the day, you will see these things, the Bible ringing true in your life. At the end of the day, it says, in due season, we will reap if we do not give up. So again, it just behooves us to keep doing good. Don't grow weary. Let the Lord get back. Let the Lord handle the justice and all those different things. And then and at the end of the day, you're going to see, you're going to be reaping the harvest of making that choice. I mean, I don't know. I hope I'm making sense to us today, y'all. But I mean, I've just seen this happen in my life so much to where, I mean, I could sit here and try to and give y'all examples all day, sitting here talking about what God has done in my favor. Because I allowed him to handle it. You know, at the end of the day, I didn't have to go get the revenge. I didn't have to go and, get my lip back or whatever the case is, and no, it don't feel fair and it don't feel right, and I can acknowledge that as well. You're like, man, Lord, you asking me to do something that, I don't think nobody else even would do for me. But guess what? Someone did do it for you, y'all. Jesus Christ. He does it for you all day, every day. We just sat here and talked about the past couple of days about different things like we don't even, what is it? What was that type of being ungrateful we talked about yesterday. Talked about the ungrateful. The day before that, we talked about the lust of the eyes and all these different things. Like, we all have sinned and fallen short, friend. You're not perfect. So as much as we can sit here and look at someone else and be like, man, they did me wrong. They did me wrong. God, we need to understand that God looks at us and know, and at the end of the day, we do him wrong each and every day, all day. So that should humble us all. In my humble opinion, that's an even playing field for everybody. None of us are perfect. We've all fallen short. So anything that you said that somebody can do have done to you can be said for you. So let's just humble ourselves and not grow weary in the well doing, and expect to reap, right? Expect to reap in due season, for allowing God to handle, again, the get back in life or the justice or all those different type of things. Let's keep going, y'all, because I got a few more verses. And I didn't know the Lord was going to let me go this far into it. But hey, I mean, I hope that, again, these words are encouraging and inspiring you. I just know that it's just so easy to feel like we're alone and we feel like, God, you're not there, And so as somebody who has felt that, but then at the same time, I've also seen the fruits, right, of being like, I'm going to let God handle this, or I'm going to present these things to God. It's just so much more peace and joy in that. At least I find in my life. So, I mean, I don't know if anyone else has experienced that, but so many examples. If y'all want me to, I tell y'all what, in the after show, if y'all want me to give y'all some examples of what I'm talking about, then comment below. And I'll be sharing some testimony in more detail about that. But let me go ahead and share more verses so I can wrap this thing up, right? So we got Proverbs 20 and 22. It says, do not say, I will repay evil. Wait for the Lord, and he will deliver you. Yeah, again, sometimes you got to exercise some patience, y'all. Like, at the end of the day, he is going to deliver us, and everything like that. Again, I just sat here and talked about all these examples that we don't have to repay evil with evil. Let God handle it, y'all. Heap those coals on their heads by being nice, being kind, loving, in spite of whatever people do. I know it's hard. I know it's hard, but it's possible. And we understand, again, if we humbly understand and accept the fact that, you know what, this is what God does for me all day, every day, then we should be able to extend that grace and mercy to the next person. Here we go, Micah 7 and 7. But as for me, I will look to the Lord. I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me. Here's the thing, y'all. We got to start changing the narrative, right? Whatever that's going on in our hearts and minds about the situations that we're going through, we need to take those things captive and start putting in what the word of God has to say about our life and everything like that. A lot of those things, those narratives that play in our mind about what our life is or whatever the case is, those are lies. And for whatever reason, it's like we buy into the lies versus accepting what the truth of what God says about us in our life. So again, let's try, right, to practice, making these verses our prayer. Can you start to say, what, when I feel down, when I feel alone, when I feel like, I've been wronged, can I say that, I'm going to look to the Lord and I'm going to wait on God for my salvation and that he hears me? Like, can we start to switch our hearts and minds to accept that truth, I think we probably don't think God hears us. That's why we feel like we're alone, because we're like, oh, God ain't got time to listen to me. But at the end of the day, the Bible tells us that God knows the number of our head, the hairs on our head. Like, I don't even know the numbers of the hairs on my head. I barely even know the number of locks that's on my head, let alone the number of strands of hair. But that's what God knows about us. And so he is there. He does know. And he will, again, if we don't give up, we're going to reap the harvest of doing good. Here goes some more verses that we can start to switch the narrative in our minds about our life and about feeling alone and feeling like God isn't there. Philippians 1:19, it says, "For I know that through your prayers and the help of the Spirit of Jesus Christ, this will turn out for my deliverance." There you go, friends. I mean, at the end of the day, the trials and tribulations of life, the word says that all things work together for the good of those that love God. If you truly believe that, then you can be patient, you can be kind, you can show love, because you understand that God is all of that for you. And at the end of the day, you're going to reap the benefits of living that type of life. I feel like I missed a verse, so let me just check real quick. Wait for the Lord. No, that one. Okay, I must have read it then. Let me see. Deliver you. Okay. Maybe I didn't. But I tell you what, there's plenty of verses in the Go Deeper section that you guys can peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. So again, if you are in that place mentally, feeling like you're alone, feeling like God's not there, things of that nature, then I hope that the verses there will encourage you and inspire you. And y'all, this is the juice, man. That's ultimately the juice. Now, the Bible verse of today is John 1:5. It says, "And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not." Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all on Monday, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Did you know that you can support us for just 99 cents a month? That's right, friends. You can support everything that we do here at GSL for just 99 cents a month. Take a look around wherever this post is. You might see a link or maybe even a button that says support. Go there, check out the options, consider supporting us because, we enjoy bringing you all the daily inspiration as well as the weekly talk show, but we have much, much more to come. Thank you so much for the consideration. Bye-bye.